What's up, everybody? It's Three Wheel Khalil, and it's coming up to that time of year where unfortunately some people's riding seasons might be coming to a close. Luckily, down here in Florida, we don't really have that issue, but all the same, there are some big things that happen around this time of year. In the next few months, we're going to be seeing new bikes hit the lot. The 2021 Rykers, Can-Am Spyders, F3S, F3T, a Spyder RT. All of these various bikes are about to hit the lot. And I wanted to give you guys my top tips on purchasing a new Can-Am Ryker, Can-Am Spyder, or new motorcycle in general. I think everybody could get some good tips out of what I've got to say here today. So, if you're interested in buying a new bike or you know somebody who is, stick with me. So I'm really excited because we're coming up on one of my favorite times of the year, which is autumn. In many places, the leaves are starting to change, the weather is getting cooler. None of those places are Florida, however, I can dream, can I? And maybe even take a road trip or two once the season fully gets in swing. However, once we get into fall, that also brings along other challenges, such as we're right around the corner from winter. And for a lot of people, that means the end of your riding season and time to wrap up your bike, put it in a cover, and leave it in the garage for a few months until the sun comes to melt out all the snow and get the salt off of the roads in your area. But there can be an upside to that. New bikes are coming out, 2021 models are starting to roll onto the showroom floor, and a lot of those 2020 models are going to be severely discounted. So, I wanted to give you guys my top 5 tips on purchasing a new Can-Am Ryker or Can-Am Spyder, but I think a lot of these are going to apply to purchasing any motorcycle. Just some of the specifics are for my Can-Am brethren. So, let's start off with lucky number 5. Now, this may seem simple, but the number 5 tip is to shop around. This doesn't mean that you have to go to 5 different dealerships and talk to 5 different salespeople and sit on 5 different bikes. But it means at least spending the time going online, using Cycle Trader, and expanding your radius more than you might have previously. Especially right now during the whole Pandy situation, a lot of times dealerships are a lot more willing to work digitally and over the phone than they used to. I know a lot of times the dealership's whole power is to have you inside of the dealership. You're the easiest to, unfortunately, manipulate while they're standing in front of you. It's a lot harder to deal with a buyer who can take a break from discussing, payment information with you to reach out to another dealer and find a lower price, or to look at the going rate for the warranty services that they're about to sell you or something like that. It's a lot harder to deal with a customer who is on the other end of the phone or a computer rather than one who's in your shop who you can basically push to make a sale right now. However, because of everything going on right now, dealers are forced to deal with people in that manner. I know personally, I purchased my bike prior to the Pandy, but I purchased a truck during the Pandy, and it was such a better experience during the Pandy than actually buying cars before it, just because dealerships were much more willing to work online, which meant a lot less hassle of bait and switch tactics. It was pretty straightforward. Hey, this is the car, this is what I want to pay for it. Will you guys deliver it? Yes. Will you take my trade-in? Yes. And the process could move forward in that manner. So when I say go online, expand your radius, I personally, anytime I'm looking at a bike, I go look for about 250 miles out from my location. That's a pretty safe distance that I could either get the vehicle to me towed, or I could ride it back no sweat within that distance. But if you're willing to put a little extra miles on a vehicle, Expand your radius even further. Go 500 miles. Look everywhere within your state. Look within the next 2 neighboring states. If you're really trying to get a good deal and also possibly find a dealership that looks like they are worth working with, expand your horizons. You can also use the Can-Am website to find out which of these dealers are their platinum and bronze rated dealers and stuff like that, so that you can see who are going to be the premium dealers in your area who have a better rapport with Can-Am, which is also good in the long run if you ever need to do any warranty services with them. Also, you might want to check out Can-Am's website for the rebates that they might have, because a lot of times I've seen that the dealerships don't necessarily give you those rebates if you don't know about them beforehand. A lot of them will, but some of those dealers don't either keep up with it, or they just figure that they're going to make an extra buck and don't tell you about the rebates unless you know about them. Also, don't forget about the models from 2020 or 2019 if you're buying right now. If you can find a holdover model in any type of bike, a Can-Am Ryker, a Can-Am Spyder, RT, any of the models, see if you can make a deal on it. Those dealers, especially come the end of this year, they're going to want to move that supply. And even worse, come into the start of next year. No dealer wants to sell a bike that says 2020 and 2021, because eventually it's going to start to depreciate and they're going to lose more and more money as it sits on their showroom floor. Even worse if they somehow still have a 2019 holdover at the end of this year. But I don't think your luck's going to be that great. For my number 4 tip, is consider buying a used motorcycle. Now, I know when we buy toys, we want to be the first person to drive it, first person to touch it, first person to look at it. But a lot of times you can get such a great deal on a lightly used motorcycle. Let's face it, a lot of people buy motorcycles in general for the wrong reasons. A lot of people buy them before they know that they like riding motorcycles. A lot of people buy them before they know about the particular motorcycle that they're buying. And a lot of people dump a whole bunch of unnecessary money into a motorcycle before they even really decide if that motorcycle or if motorcycling in general is for them. So take advantage of that. Some guy right now just bought a Can-Am Spyder F3 and he's dumping money into mods. And guess what? He's going to sell it in a month. He probably didn't even put 100 miles on it. And that could be your Can-Am Spyder F3. Think about that. Let him take the hit on depreciation. Let you get the free mods for less than it would have cost for a brand new one off the lot. And all he did was start to break it in for you. I've mentioned this before, but I personally purchased my Can-Am Ryker 2019 Rally model in January of 2020. It had a few hundred miles on it, but it hadn't even been fully broken in. I noticed after a few months of riding it that the engine and CVT transmission were just starting to really get on the same page and feel perfect. Personally, I'm a big fan of buying low mileage used vehicles. I think it's the most bang for your buck that you're going to get almost out of anything, and if you're careful with a lot of the details, you're really going to come out ahead of the game with a low mileage used vehicle. I promise this was not intentional, but tip number 3 is check the warranty. You might think if you're purchasing a brand new bike that you have nothing to worry about as far as warranties are concerned, but you might be mistaken. If you go ahead and purchase an extended warranty directly from the dealership that you're purchasing your bike at, you might be overpaying or not getting the coverage that you might want on that bike. Here in Florida, we have the misfortune of not being able to purchase Can-Am or BRP's best warranty coverage. Unfortunately, there's something with insurance, etc., and how it works down here in Florida. However, if you have the Can-Am best coverage, it will be honored in Florida from all accounts that I've heard. So many people reach out outside of the state and are able to purchase the warranty coverage from a dealership in another state or that operates online but is based in another state as well. Also, many dealerships sell the warranty like that anyway, by itself. So while you're under your original coverage for your Can-Am Ryker or Spyder or what have you, you can re-up that BRP best coverage and get the extended warranty as long as you're under your original warranty or under a best contract already. Therefore, you can decide if you want to wait a little bit and price it out with different dealerships rather than being rushed and paying the full price possibly from the dealership that you're purchasing your bike at. So it would behoove you to reach out to some dealerships, get some different prices on what the warranty would cost in your area, or wait a little bit so that you don't have to finance that purchase and you can pay for that cash out of your pocket if that's what you're doing. If you're going the route of purchasing a used motorcycle, make sure you ask the dealership how much of the original warranty is remaining on the bike. A lot of times they'll still try to sell you an extended warranty even though you have a year left of the original warranty, and they won't really make that clear to you. Make sure you get that information before making your purchase. Getting close to the end of the list here, but my number 2 tip is take care of any concerns before you sign the paperwork. I can tell you from personal experience that getting a dealership to do anything for you or give you anything after you have already committed to or paid them the money for the bike or car is near impossible. Or it'll be such a pain in your ass you will not want to do it and you will be ashamed that you even tried. A lot of times, the best way to do something is to make sure everything is clean and clear up front, because they're going to be much more willing to help and make accommodations before they've made a deal than afterwards. Because after they've made a deal, you're already a number on a paper. You've already committed to paying this thing. You're 99.9% not going to bail out after everything is already said and done. And even if you do, there are probably ramifications that you're going to have to deal with in terms of payment if you're financing, then inquiries that you've put on your credit, etc., etc., etc. So you've already gone through so much. It makes sense to try and protect yourself at that moment in time before you let the ink dry. What I would say, my personal experience, I purchased my Ryker. They gave me 1 key. And in that moment, I didn't really think about it. I didn't process. I was so excited to get my bike. But then later, like a month later when I'm thinking about it, I was like, I bought a used Ryker from a Can-Am dealership that literally can make digital keys. And somehow, on a bike that I paid nearly $10,000 for, they could not find it in themselves to take a $30 key, program it in the back since they have the power to do so, and give me that with the bike that I just purchased from them. I ended up having to go back and purchase a key. I tried to see if they would give me one. They were not flexible in that way. So I had to go back and purchase and pay to have the key programmed. So I had to pay for the key itself and pay for the time that it took for them to program it. And I called around in my area and everybody was basically charging around the same price. However, that's the type of little thing that if you had noticed it beforehand, they would have definitely done it. It does not cost them much money or time, but if they can bill you for it, best believe they will bill you for it. So keep that in mind. Think of all those little things. Something that we noticed in the Ryker wheel hub video. Some Rykers have them, some don't. But a lot of people who are buying bikes now see that if their bike doesn't come with it, have them put it on or have them order it for you as part of the deal. It costs them $15 maybe to get that part on the bike. So they'll definitely do that if you're willing to, hey, you know what, I'm going to look at other options if you guys won't take care of this small thing for me. It's just a show of goodwill that they want to do business with you. After the business is done, they're going to be like, yeah, you can go to the parts department and take care of that. So definitely be mindful of things like that. Also, if there are any accessories that you want, see if they'll bundle that into the deal. See if they'll throw that into the mix, or at least give you a better deal than you would get if you're buying it afterwards. I will say that I've been lucky that my dealership has worked with me. There's a specific couple guys there who give me good deals on accessories, and I do pay a little bit less than I would if I were to buy them directly from Can-Am or buy them online. So also be aware that you can establish a relationship with a dealership if they are a good dealer, or at least have a couple of good people working for them. You may be able to get a couple breaks here and there, but try and take care of everything you can before you pay the money for your bike, before you sign that paper, before you take delivery, because everything after that, it's basically like you're starting fresh. Most dealers are not going to treat you like you're a VIP customer. They're going to treat you like just another guy who bought a bike. Last but certainly not least, my number one tip is to take the MSF course before you buy your bike. That's two-wheel riders, that's three-wheel riders, that's everybody. Take the MSF course. I'm sure at this point you guys know I'm the lame guy who loves to preach about the MSF course, but I just think it is the best step to take when you want to get into motorcycling. Any of the MSF courses provide you a bike to ride during the course. I would suggest purchasing your own helmet just for, sanitary purposes, helmet, gloves, etc. But they will provide you a bike to ride. You will get an understanding of what it is like to be a motorcyclist. You will get an understanding of the thought process it takes to be a safe motorcyclist on the road. And when it comes to the Can-Am course, they do such a good job subsidizing that course that it only costs $100. And for women, I believe a lot of the times it costs less, since their big initiative is to help women get into motorcycling and help specifically get into Can-Am Spyders and Rykers, etc. So for less than $100, you get a weekend course that will give you a crash course on what it is like to be a motorcyclist. You get to learn on a motorcycle. You get a lot of seat time on various motorcycles depending on your course. But, at the very least, you get seat time on some Can-Am Rykers. My specific course, you got Can-Am Ryker, Spyder F3s, Spyder F3T, Spyder RT. So we literally got the gamut of Can-Am motorcycles. Take that opportunity to learn, to spend some time on some bikes, to see if riding is for you. So many people buy their bikes, sell them pretty quickly because they did not know what riding was like. They didn't know what riding in their area was like. They never put themselves in that mindset. They just saw a shiny toy and decided to buy it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's your money, spend it how you want to. But if you want to be an informed purchaser, if you want to be an informed rider, take that extra step. Don't be like the next guy who just thinks that you're just going to hop on the bike and everything's going to click, because it doesn't always work that way. And sometimes it might even take you one or two times, and you might even say, hey, this isn't for me. This isn't what I want to do. Give yourself that opportunity before you commit to spending such a large amount of money or such a large amount of your time and investment to get into purchasing a motorcycle. Take the course and see if you have the skills, or if you can learn the skills to enjoy motorcycling. It's such an essential step to take when you're purchasing your first bike. You'll have the paperwork you need to get your endorsement on your license, and if not, you'll have the skills to be able to take the endorsement test, and you'll also get a discount on your insurance. Best of all, you'll be ready to pick up your bike and ride it home. And there's not many better feelings than that one right there. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. I've been Three Wheel Khalil, and remember, life's more fun on three wheels. Peace.